Good morning, children. Stay safely at home and also learn the study related everything properly. So today I am teaching you the last chapter in 10th standard, that is radioactivity. Although in between there was one more chapter, that is electromagnetism, as that is removed from your portion totally. So I am not teaching that one. So in the chapter radioactivity, first of all you have to know what is the structure of an atom. Now all of you know it, what is the structure of an atom. First thing is that entire mass of the atom, it is generally concentrated in a very small region at the center of the atom. That small region where the entire mass of the atom is concentrated is known as nucleus. Inside the nucleus there are two fundamental particles. Alright. Now one kind of particle, they are positively charged and they are known as proton. Now mass of proton is 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg and charge of proton is plus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. And then the other kind of fundamental particle present in the nucleus is neutron. Now why the name is neutron? Because it is electrically neutral, means it has no charge. So that's why you see I have written Q stands for charge and the subscript N stands for neutron. So like that here also you see QP means charge of proton. Now in case of neutron, the charge of neutron is 0 and mass of neutron is almost equal to mass of proton, means 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So I have summarized here point wise the points that are important for the structure of an atom. So you see inside the nucleus there are two kind of fundamental particle, proton and neutron. So as both of them are staying inside the nucleus, so they together, protons and neutrons together known as nucleons. Alright, here I have written they are known as nucleons. Nucleons are their common name, is their common name. Proton and neutron having the common name nucleons. And around the nucleus there are different orbits and in every orbit there are electrons and electrons revolve around the nucleus staying in the particular orbit and the orbits are named as KL from the nucleus, KLMN like this, means the first orbit from the nucleus is named as kth orbit, then next one is L, next one is M, next one is N and so on. Alright, and in any orbit, how many electrons will be present, that is given by the number 2n square. Alright, 2n square. This n is known as principal quantum number and for kth orbit the value of n is equal to 1. So you see in kth orbit how many maximum number of electrons it can have? 2. Remember that 2n square is the maximum number of electron orbit can have. Orbit may have electrons less than 2n square but orbit cannot have electron more than 2n square. Is that clear? So 2n square gives you generally the number of electron, maximum number of electron that one orbit may have. Alright. So and for kth orbit, as I said, the principal quantum number value is 1. For lth orbit, the principal quantum number is 2 and so on. So number of electrons will be 2 in the kth orbit. In the lth orbit, number of electrons will be 8. Then the next one will be 2 into 3 square means 3 square means 9 into 2, 18, so on. Alright. Now electrons are negatively charged particle. Alright. So girls, whatever I have said, note it down point wise and you too note it down in the study material notebook. Now the charge of electron present inside the atom is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb and electrons are negatively charged particles, so we write it as QE is equal to minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So you see what is happening inside the atom, that number of proton and number of electron, number of proton present inside the nucleus always equal to number of electrons present in the orbit outside the nucleus, alright. And not only that, charge of one proton is equal to charge of one electron, and you know that one positive charge, they can cancel the same amount of negative charge. So what is happening here inside the atom, the total amount of positive charge due to proton and total amount of negative charge due to electron, they are equal, so they cancel their effect each other. So atom as a whole electrically neutral, alright. So that's all about the structure of an atom. Now if you consider the number of proton inside the nucleus of an atom, then that number of proton is known as atomic number, alright. And atomic number is denoted by Z. So you see, Z is what? Number of proton. You can write, but as we know that number of proton, number of electron equal, so you can write that Z is equal to number of proton. This is the basic definition of Z, but one may write number of electron also. But remember, it should be an atom, because if it is an ion, you know what happens, it will have either excess number of electron than the normal number, or it will have deficiency of electron than the normal, alright. So if it is having excess number of electron, then it becomes negatively charged ion, okay. And if it is having deficiency of electron, then it is known as positively charged ion. So if it is an atom, then only you can write this, that Z is equal to number of proton equal to number of electrons. Then next concept is concept of mass number. What is mass number? Total number of proton and neutron present inside the nucleus of an atom is known as mass number. Mass number, although it is mass number, but we denote it by the letter A, capital A. And so A is equal to what? Number of proton, Np, plus number of, not electron, number of neutron. Number of proton plus number of neutron. So you can write it, A is equal to total number of nucleons. Alright. So what are the concept you have got? What is the structure of an atom? What are the fundamental particles present inside the atom? And what is the atomic number and mass number of an atom? Atomic number is denoted by Z, whereas mass number denoted by the letter A. Both are capital. So you see, if we apply the concept of the atomic number and mass number, then we can represent the symbol of an atom this way, ZXA. And sometimes you may write like this also. Okay, means on the same side you can write Z and A. So Z always will be written in the down part, and upper part A will be written. Above X A will be written. Alright. Now, if you write down that atomic number is Z and mass number A, then you see number of proton in the atom, it will be Z, number of electron will be Z, number of neutron will be how much? A minus Z. Okay, so I have given just one example. If you consider the sodium, sodium is having atomic number 11, mass number 23. So you see, inside sodium, how many proton will be there? 11. How many electron? 11. And how many neutron? 23 minus 11 means 12. So if you consider the nucleus, inside the nucleus there are 11 number of protons, they are positively charged, so plus sign given, and 12 neutrons are there. Then outside there will be 11 electrons. So how they will stay? In the kth orbit 2 electron can stay. Then in the lth orbit 8 electron can stay. So 2 plus 8 is 10. Then what will happen in the mth orbit? How many electron will be there? For sodium, 1 electron. Alright. So this is the way you can get the structure of an atom. And how to write the symbol of an atom, that also we have learned in terms of the atomic number Z and mass number A. Next coming the concept of isotopes. What are isotopes? The atoms of same element. I repeat, isotopes are atoms of same element having the same atomic number but different mass number. Alright, means all of them are having same atomic number, same number of proton, but their mass numbers are different. So they are having different number of neutrons. These kind of atoms are known as isotopes. Now if you consider hydrogen are having three isotopes. First one, it is known as protium 1H1, means it is having one proton and one neutron. This is having one proton only inside the nucleus, there is no neutron. Alright. Then next one is known as deuterium. It is having inside the nucleus one proton, one neutron, and outside the nucleus one electron. Then this is known as tritium. This is the third isotope hydrogen. It is having one proton, one electron, but two neutron. Alright. Like that, carbon are having three isotopes. 6C12. This is the normal or stable isotope of carbon. I am coming to that point also. Then here you see for 6C12, how many protons and neutrons are there? There are 6 protons and there are 6 neutrons. Then in 6C13, 6 proton and 7 neutron. Then 6C14, it is having 6 proton, 8 neutrons. Alright. Then chlorine are having two isotopes, 17 chlorine 35, then 17 chlorine 37. In 17 chlorine 35, how many protons are there? 17, and how many electrons are how many neutrons are there? 18. But in this case, you see it is having 17 proton and how many neutron are there? 37 minus 17 means 20 neutrons are there. Alright. So, depending on the nature of the isotopes, there are two kind of isotopes, stable isotopes. In the stable isotopes, their structure is stable. They never undergo radioactive decay. They never disintegrate. And in case of stable isotope, you will observe these are the stable isotope. This is 1H1, 6C12, 17 chlorine 35. These are all stable isotopes. Okay. In stable isotope, you will see that number of protons almost equal to number of neutrons. And in case of unstable isotopes, they disintegrate and they undergo radioactive decay. That's why they are also known as radioactive isotopes, or in short, radioisotopes. Okay. And in radioisotopes, you will observe that number of neutrons is much bigger than the number of protons. Just like if you consider carbon 6C14, this isotope of carbon, this is a radioisotope of carbon. Like that 17 chlorine 37, it is a radioisotope of chlorine. Alright. So these are the related points, important points related with the isotopes, concept of isotopes. Very important topic for your board exam. So you must learn and remember it. And also practice the example of isotopes. And remember, for isotopes, they are the atoms of the same element. Now next is concept of isobars. What are isobars? Atoms of different element. Remember, for isotope, I said atoms of same element. But for isobar, they are the atoms of different element having same mass number A but different atomic number Z. Okay, let's consider this example. 11 sodium 23 and 12 magnesium 23. Now this you see, sodium and magnesium, they are different element. They are having the same mass number 23 but different atomic number 11 and 12. So these two are example of isobar. Then again you consider 6C14 and 7N14, carbon and nitrogen. Both of them are having 14 as the mass number, but you see their atomic number 6 and 7. Alright. Again, so these two are isobars. Again, the isobars where the number of proton and number of neutrons get interchanged within the nucleus are known as the mirror isobars. Alright, just you consider this example. For 11 sodium 23, how many protons are there? 11. How many neutrons are there? 12. But if you consider 12, magnesium 23, how many protons are there? 12. How many neutrons are there? 11. So look at it. Number of proton equal to number of neutron. Number of neutron equal to number of proton. Means what is happening? As if the number of proton and neutron are getting interchanged. So these two, this 11 sodium 23 and 12 magnesium 23, they are known as the mirror isobars. Alright. The next is isotone, concept of isotone. Tone term is coming from neutron. Okay, so what are isotones? Atoms of different element having same number of neutron. So same number of neutron means what? What is the neutron number? A minus Z. So you see these atoms, neither they are A same nor they are Z same. Means A are different, Z are different, but A minus Z is same for these atoms of different elements. These are known as isotones. So what are isotones? Atoms of different elements having same number of neutrons. And what is the number of neutron? A minus Z, that's why I have written within bracket, are called isotones. So consider the example, 11 sodium 23, 12 magnesium 24. You see here, what is A minus Z? A minus Z is 23 minus 11, 12. So how many neutrons sodium is having? This atom, it is having 12 neutrons. And you consider the magnesium. Z is 12, A is 24. So what is A minus Z? 12. So you see this magnesium is also having 12 neutron. Sodium is also having 12 neutron and magnesium is also having 12 neutron. So these two are known as isotone. Then another example, 19K39 and 20Ca40. You see what is Z minus A? A minus Z 20, and in this case also A minus Z is 20. Means both the atoms are having 20 number of neutrons together. So these are known as the isotones. So you must learn the definitions of isotopes, isobars, isotone, and at least one set of example, and isotope, two types of isotopes, and what is mirror isobar. You must learn all this thing. Next is coming the concept of radioactivity. Very interesting one. What is radioactivity? The spontaneous emission of alpha, beta and gamma radiations from the nucleus of atoms during their decay is known as radioactivity. Now what are the alpha, beta, gamma radiations? That in details I will discuss. So you see here, if you consider radioactivity, it is a spontaneous process. Spontaneous process means what? From the nucleus, alpha, beta, gamma, these three kind of radiation comes out, but you cannot say when they will come out and which one will come out. And when the radioactivity occurs, then it is not at all affected by any external condition. Means where is the nucleus? The nucleus may be anywhere, maybe inside liquid, inside gas, or it may be in the solid state. It may be under the action of the magnetic field, electric field, or it may be in space. Does not matter. Means no external condition can affect the process of radioactivity. So that's why it is known as the spontaneous emission of alpha, beta and gamma radiation. And the substances which disintegrates or decay, okay, by the spontaneous emission of alpha, beta and gamma radiations are known as the radioactive substances. Now some of the radioactive substances that you may get in nature also, that is uranium, radium, polonium, thorium, these are all radioactive substances. In the periodic table, you have learned periodic table in chemistry. In the periodic table, whatever element after lead, most of them exhibit the radioactivity. Alright. So what for the exam purpose, what you have to learn, the definition of radioactivity you have to learn. So that's why point wise I have noted down what is radioactivity and what are radioactive substances and few example of radioactive substances. Now how you can find out, how you can know what are the alpha, beta and gamma radiations? Rutherford demonstrated it by a very nice experiment, and this experiment also exam wise very important, so try to understand it. Rutherford, what he did, he kept one radioactive substance inside a double-walled lead box. Why a double-walled lead box? Because from the radioactive substances, when alpha, beta, gamma radiations they are coming out, they are extremely harmful to the living beings. All right. So the radiation should not spread in all direction. Now lead can absorb all these three types of radiation, radioactive radiations, lead box can absorb. So that's why it is a double walled. Means double walled means what? Thickness is made very thick, so thickness is large, so that no radiation should come out from the lead box and nobody staying near the lead box get exposed to the radiation. Now there is a fine hole inside the box, double walled lead box, and just below that hole the radioactive substance is kept, and then outside what is done, an electric field is applied. You see here how the electric field is created. A positively charged metal plate, okay, and a negatively charged metal plate, they are having the same amount of charge but opposite charge kept parallel to each other. Then within this plate what will happen? A uniform electric field will be created. Now it has been observed that one radiation, it comes out, three kind of radiation comes out from the radioactive substance. One radiation, it moves undeviated in the electric field. That radiation is known as the gamma radiation. So the radiation which do not suffer any deviation, any deflection in an electric field, that is known as the gamma radiation. Then you see another kind of radiation, it bends towards the negative plate. So as it is bending towards the negative plate, it indicates that this is a positively charged radiation. So this is named as alpha radiation. And another point you must observe here, that alpha radiation, when it is bent, then deviation, it is not very much. Okay, deviation is less. Another kind of radiation which deflects or deviates towards the positively charged plate, definitely it will be negatively charged radiation. This is known as beta radiation. And observe also, the beta radiation deviate more than alpha. Alpha deviate less, whereas beta deviate more. Okay, so what are the alpha, beta and gamma radiation? I hope it is clear. The gamma radiation which do not suffer any deviation, deflection in the electric field, moves undeviated. Alpha radiation is that radiation which deflects towards the negatively charged plate and deflect by less amount, and beta radiation is that radiation which deflects towards the positively charged plate. Alright. Now, instead of electric field, if you consider that instead of electric field, if you keep, not you, sorry, Rutherford kept it, that if you keep in that magnetic field. Now how it is kept, as understand it, magnetic fields are denoted by the cross sign. What is the meaning? They are in the inward direction. Just look at the direction of the pen. Okay, this magnetic field is in the perpendicularly inward direction. Alright. So this is denoted by cross. Inward means what you see? You know that vectors are represented by arrow. So when if you consider an arrow, then you know arrow is like this. The head is like this, and at the tail there is a cross sign, isn't it? So if the arrow is in the inward direction, then the cross will be visible, the tail of the arrow will be visible. So when these cross signs are there, it indicates that magnetic field is perpendicularly inward direction to the whiteboard, not the blackboard. Here it is whiteboard. Now, in that case, the radiation which remains undeviated, that is the gamma radiation. The radiation which deflects towards the left but deflect by less amount, that is alpha radiation. And the radiation which deflects towards the right but deflect by more amount, that is the beta radiation. So, what we observed, that there are three kind of radiation: alpha, beta, gamma, coming out from a radioactive substance. Gamma always remain undeviated in an electric field or magnetic field, and alpha, it deviates in electric and magnetic field. Alright, in electric field it deviates towards the negative plate, and in magnetic field, if you want to find out electromagnetism, I have not taught, so I cannot say, just leave it. For magnetic field, this way it will deflect, means if the magnetic field is in the inward direction, then alpha will deflect towards the left, and beta, it is the radiation which deflects towards the positively charged plate, okay, and deviate by more amount. And in case of magnetic field, it will, if the magnetic field is in the inward direction, it will deflect towards the right. They are known as the beta radiation. Now one by one we have to know about the alpha, beta and gamma radiations. Alright, we will know about the properties of alpha, beta and gamma radiation. Thank you girls. That's all for today.